Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode number 11 in our Bedrock Realm series. I am here underneath our smelter to demonstrate how thankful I am that in the last update they made it so you can crouch and walk underneath 1.5 block tall gaps. Because while I was working up above where our hoppers are, if I can find it in here, I dropped my pick. There it is. Now I'm able to sneak down under here and get it. The other thing I need to do down here is I'm sure that lots and lots of rails fell into here while I was working them out. I'm going to have to pull them out or they're going to block my fuel lines. I think that's all of them for now. We'll double check them once we're done. I made a slight change to what we had finished in the last episode, and that's because I completely forgot. My goal was, originally I had it set up like this side, where I have all three of the starting ends of the rails on this end, which was real pain to do, and I realize now that it would have been easier to not do that. And then they all ended down at this end, and then they came back. Well, the entire reason that I set this farm out in 3 chunk borders is that this end is where all the item processing is going to go. So this is where you put items in and then they come out. And then on this end, I am going to build all my fuel processing, because I'm eventually going to have a system to assist me with getting lava out of a lava lake up there. We may or may not be able to automate it. I still haven't quite worked all that out, but at the very least I want to be able to load it up and then just drop it off on this end. And on this end, all we do is the item processing, where we put items in, get items out. That's the goal. So I need to convert this side to match that side. And there we go. We have it fixed. Now the fuel lines start down at that end and flow down to this end, and the input lines start at this end, flow down to that end, and come back. So we can work on our next redstone bit. We already did the redstone down here. That was in the last episode. We have it so that it detects when items are flowing through here. And now what we need to do is figure out how we're going to do it up here. Ideally, we just want to make sure that it has 32 items in it to go. I guess what we could do, instead of doing it to make it that complicated, what we could do... no, I was thinking about this the last time too, and I can't. I needed to wait long enough for it to have 32 items in the minecart chest, because if we don't, then it's gonna just constantly go, and it's only gonna fuel like the first couple of furnaces, and that's not what we want. So let me give it some thought. I'm gonna figure out exactly how I want to do the redstone for this system, and then once I have one figured out, I'll come back and show it to you, and we'll build all 4. We've gotten most of this redstone figured out. I think that there's a couple little more things I need to do, but you can see that this minecart with a hopper loads up until it's got enough items in it that it's going to go down to the other end of here. I'm going to try to increase this, I think. I want it to wait a little bit longer, trying to figure out exactly the best way to do this. But so the minecart with hopper comes up here from this hopper and loads up with items. I think I might need to put in a couple of stacks. It's been quite a while since I've done this redstone, so it's just a matter of figuring out exactly the amount I need. I think that's going to do it. My goal is to get it so that this loads up with more than a stack of items before it goes again. So right now it's going to 6 to 70, which is fine. It'll go through and it will keep emptying it out. The other thing I don't quite have done yet, and I'll do that here in a minute, is that I want to make it so that when this chest does nothing else left in it, it just turns this on so that this just constantly runs so that it'll empty itself out. That way I don't have any items stuck in. But what happens here is this is our input line. We'll have hoppers that lead from where we put the items in that go to here, and it fills up this chest. This chest feeds into a hopper. The hopper feeds into this minecart with hopper, which is sitting on top of a detector rail and a powered rail with a piston here to prevent it from rolling. There's a comparator underneath that's looking at the detector rail, which makes it so it can see what's inside the minecart with hopper. And as soon as that comparator, because it's on subtraction mode, gets a signal that's stronger than the signal given off by this chest. Let's see what happens if I do it in half of a stack here. Oh, I need to add more into my input. As soon as this gets enough items in it that the signal strength it's giving out is stronger than the signal strength coming in from this comparator, it depowers this redstone torch, which turns off this piston, which makes it so that the minecart can roll again. So let's see here. We can see this is going to get up to the point where it should be a stack plus, or no, since I took off that half stack, it's at 47, which is more than I need. I need just enough that it's going to do 2 for each one, which is 32. So that's perfect. So I just have 3.5 stacks in a chest here, in this comparator going into the subtraction mode. So basically the way this works is the comparator is looking, because it's on subtraction mode, it's looking at the signal here, it's subtracting the signal it's getting from here, and then it's sending out the result. So if this signal is stronger than this signal, it doesn't send any signal. As soon as that signal from the minecart with hopper gets stronger than the signal from this side, then it sends redstone through, turns off the torch, piston detracts, and the minecart with hopper can go. And then once it does, this turns off again because there's nothing there, and it closes the piston again so that it can catch the minecart with hopper afterwards. I just saw a skeleton spawn down there. That's where they're spawning. I kept thinking they were coming in from the side. It's because I have spots up here where they can spawn. That's kind of dumb of me. But anyway, the next part I need to figure out how I'm going to do is I need to put in a comparator here. And let's just put one in right now. And so if this chest has items in it, let's put these back in here. It's going to turn this on. So I want to make it so that as soon as this comparator goes off, it depowers this redstone torch as well. So let me think how I'm going to do that. That would mean if I have a power going into this... Oops, that's not where I want that. It is so hard to place redstone against the side of small items like that. Or not redstone, but blocks against the side of redstone items. So right now, as long as there are any items in here... Let's test that, even if it's just one item. Yeah, even one item is going to turn that signal on. Then I'm going to have power to this, which means as soon as I lose power to this, I want to turn this off. So how would I do that? I'm going to need some time to think on that one. Let me figure it out, and then I'll come back. Okay. This was kind of... a head scratcher, not to figure out how to do the redstone, but how to fit it into where I wanted it to go. So this here is the redstone I added. And so if we put cobblestone in here, let's just do a stack. Because there's cobblestone in here, it turns this torch off, which retracts this piston, which means there's no redstone going this way. As soon as this chest gets emptied, that comparator sends a signal to here, turns this torch on, which turns this, which activates this sticky piston, which sends a redstone here. What that does is it sends a redstone signal into this block, which permanently turns this torch off no matter what the redstone down there is doing, meaning that this piston is extracted, which means that when there's nothing in the input chest, this piston is never closed, which means that hopper minecart will just run. And the reason that's important is that after we get to the point where this is empty, that hopper minecart might have 10 items in it, 30 items in it, but not enough to activate the redstone down there, but enough that we want it to keep going, filling up the furnaces. So basically the last little bit of whatever we put in the input line needs to continue to go into that hopper minecart system to keep taking it to the furnaces. So now, whatever we put into that chest will get distributed across all 16 of these furnaces. And then if this hopper minecart underneath is turned on, it will pick all that out and put it back into that chest. So assuming we have fuel, this system will smelt items 16 at a time as I put them into the input chest. So the next thing I need to do is repeat this system on all 4 of my furnace lines. I ran into an issue that may or may not be an issue. I haven't decided quite yet. Let me get over here so I can show it to you a little better. I finished both of these in the middle. The problem is, because these are so close, yeah, it is going to be an issue. The redstone from here that is turning on that system to make it so that the piston is locked open is powering both of these here. So this system, even if one of these has a lot of stuff in it and one of them empties out, it's going, oh crap. You just blow up my redstone. Please tell me you didn't. I think it's okay. I think you missed everything. So basically, if this system still has a bunch of items in it, and we want this piston to be retracting and everything, but that system is empty, it's going to pull this piston back permanently. And so this hopper is just going to fill up a couple items at a time, which might not be enough to get all the furnaces running. But honestly, these 4 chests are going to be distributed with items evenly from the input chest. So when one of these runs out, the other one should be pretty close. I think I'm just going to let it go and see if we have any trouble with it and go from there, because I think it'll be okay. And if it is, then maybe we could reduce some of our redstone there. But for now, we'll just let it go. I'm going to do this last section together now that I have worked out all the kinks, because I made a couple of little changes as I built the other one. So let's do this one together. So this goes like that, and then we're going to go up 2. So we can get rid of that one. And then there's that. So then what we do is we put a regular rail here just to make it so the rail goes up. We do a powered rail, and then we do our detector rail. So that's that part there. And then we need to come out this direction, and then go this direction. And then over here, we're going to have 2 more. From here, we are detecting, or getting a comparator signal from the detector rail. That's on subtract. We're getting a signal from here. And that is where our chest goes. The chest, we're going to have to put 3.5 stacks of items in. I'm going to have to go get some more because I am out. Grab that rail before it despawns. Not that I don't have infinite rails, but I don't like wasting things. Okay, so then the next part is we need to have hopper on top of here. We need to have a chest on top of that. We need to have a slab coming out of there so that we can get a comparator signal from here. That comparator signal goes into a block. On the back of that block, we get a torch. From the torch, we have a sticky piston coming down with a redstone block on it. The redstone block needs to be going into here. We get a repeater that comes out of it, and then we get redstone dust to carry the signal from that block over. And so then we need a torch on top of here. Powers the whole system. And then we get a piston, just a regular one this time. And then the hopper minecart goes in place. Pushed up. Missing one more thing. Because otherwise that would be moving. What am I missing? Go and get a look at it from the top. Feel like I'm missing a redstone piece, but I don't know where it goes. Let's just take a look and watch this go. So that one goes, maybe it's just because it's stuck. Grab this cart. Let's send it going this way. Then we'll watch to see what happens with it. Oh yeah, okay. It worked. It just, I put it down on the detector rail, so it didn't send the redstone. That makes sense. So if I have items in that chest, it's going to shut this piston off, or it'll activate the system, and it'll use the same logic as the other ones. So the next thing I need to do is deciding how I'm going to do the input chest, and I'm going to be pretty simple with this. Let me grab some more hoppers. I'm probably going to have to make some, which means I need some more wood, and I need some more iron. So that we can make hoppers. I think I'm going to need more than that. To make some more chests, make some more hoppers. So this is going to be fairly straightforward. I'm out of blocks. Let's see, I can use these just as temporary blocks. Get up here and take a look at it. So this can come with us. This is just temporary. I was using that to move items in to test. So we're going to have hopper lines that come into here. And then we'll go like that. And then we're going to go one like this. Let me think how I want to do this. We're going to do this one like this. And then this one will come out like this. Okay, so that's... This one goes this way, this one goes that way, and then we can put a chest on top of here. Of course, I'm out of chests. Like always, running out of things right in the middle of trying to do things. Because I turned all of my chests into hoppers. Back up on top. So if we have a double chest here, now we can repeat that process on the other side, but we're going to do hopper into this, and we're going to have another double chest on this side that goes out to the other side. And we're going to have a hopper into this, and we'll have a double chest here. So when we put items in here, it's going to evenly go through these two hoppers into these two double chests, and then since there's two hoppers underneath that, it's going to evenly distribute items this way and this way. So theoretically, once I get these last two lines of hoppers done on this side, that's going to make it so that the items are evenly distributed across all four lines when I put them in just the one input chest. How do I have you coming out? I have you coming out one more, I think. I just want it to be symmetrical. So this one goes like this one like this. I don't know how I'm going to be able to get underneath there. Do this. Let's get rid of that chest for a second. So then like that. And then on this line, it's like that, like that, like that. And then all the way to here, and we put the chest in. And so theoretically, let's do a test on this. If I put in... Actually, I'm going to come back and do the test, because I got to go grab some items to run through the system. I've done a few things for the time being, until I can figure this out. The redstone that I did, in theory, would have worked, but it's not going to work, because it's basically locking the system on whenever items are feeding in at the startup, because the chests aren't filling up. They're not filling up, I should say. I'm sorry. So now you can see that minecart hopper just got enough items. They're getting distributed from this chest evenly. Let me put down... I'm going to put down another shulker box here. And I'm just going to... Is this one empty? Almost empty. Let me get rid of this one. Probably gonna end up getting put into the system. Sure did. Oh, no, I did pick it up. Good. I'm gonna put you over here. I just need somewhere to put some items. But instead of unloading this through a hopper, one item at a time, I'm gonna just fill this chest up all the way so we can watch it in progress. So this should be filling it, pulling out 2 items at a time, which are then getting 1 into each of these chests. Oh. Well, that really sucked. Didn't seem to break anything. Okay, I mean, I'm happy with that, but that seems odd that it doesn't do that. I'm used to Java, where I would have just had a horrible day and cried for hours. So these are getting 1 into each chest at a time, which means these lines are getting 1 every other time. And so as soon as one of the minecart hoppers has enough items that it can fill the entire row of furnaces, it sends it off. So we can see each one's going as it gets filled up. That one should be going any second. Yep. And then it'll probably go back to this one first, I think. Once it has enough items fed from the main line. The issue with everything right now, I just disabled the pistons on the side that locks the other pistons open. And that means that we'll end up with some items in the system that aren't quite going out because we don't have enough to send the hoppers, or the minecart with hoppers, out. And that's fine for now. There's some other things I want to upgrade on here too. So it's all good. But so you can see every line is going, it's filling up it's filling up the furnaces. If we come down here and look, our furnaces are going to have items. Well, these have cobblestone in, so but the hoppers above are going to have items pretty evenly distributed across, in theory. There's my shulker box that I broke. And so that once they get fuel, they're going to start cooking. These have less at the end, probably because they have stone down here, maybe? I don't know. It'll be easier to see once we start testing it, once we actually have the fuel in. So now for the fuel system, we basically need to repeat the system we had over there. We want to have one place where we drop off buckets of lava, and then they get evenly distributed across the mine carts with hoppers so that they can keep this line full. That one will be a lot more... I think it'll be easier than dealing with some of the redstone over there, because it doesn't matter if stuff backs up in this system. In fact, we want it to. We'll end up with all the hoppers full plus the chest full when we're done, and then that way there will be fuel in the system for us to smelt the next time. But I do need to repeat the minecart with hopper system here with the pistons, so that there is a way for those to get released when they have enough lava buckets to go down the line. The difference is I am going to use minecart chests, because the minecart with chest is going to hold a lot more. If I did it with a minecart with hopper, it's just going to get 5 buckets of lava and then go, which means that it will eventually fill the whole system up, but it's not going to have enough to go and drop a lava bucket off all the way across the line and then come back. And that's what we want. So let me get that built up. It's going to be basically the same as this side, so I'm not going to do it on camera, and then we will proceed with figuring everything else out. I have spent way too much time, several hours, trying to figure out a bit of a bug I've been having here. I don't know if it's necessarily a bug, but something with the redstone that I don't understand. And so what's happening is this minecart with a hopper, when it gets down here, occasionally will grab a bucket of lava and take it back. At first I thought maybe it was somehow bugging out and taking it out of the furnace, but the only thing I think is that somehow it is, when it is stopping there for a second, it is taking the lava bucket out of here and putting it into that minecart hopper, which it shouldn't do. So if anybody has any idea what is going on that I haven't tried, I thought at first it was doing it when these tracks go at an angle so that the hopper was in a weird spot and it was hitting one of these. No such luck. It appears to be happening when it comes here and it stops for a half a tick and turns around. Somehow it is pulling stuff diagonally out of this hopper. I don't know how, but it definitely is happening. I've done some testing here to this is cut off, so now only the line that I have replaced with just hoppers is connected, and I'm not getting any lava buckets. But over on the other side, where it's using a minecart hopper, it is definitely picking up lava buckets and causing issues for me. So if you can think of any ways that that is happening, leave me a comment so I can try some things to fix it. But I'm giving up. I'm going to replace the minecarts on the bottom with just a line of hoppers, which will work fine, and it's not a bad thing. But I wanted it to be minecarts here, which I thought would have been more interesting. But in the future, what I have to work on this farm is I want to have a drop-off and loading area that is right next to each other, and I want to add in shulker loaders and unloaders. So basically, right now, I come up here and I bring shulker boxes and I grab a bunch of items out of them, and I turn and I drop them off into the chest, and then they get taken off to be smelted. And I want to just be able to drop off the shulker box full of items, have that get unloaded into our system, have it get smelted, and then have it get loaded back into a shulker box rather than having to do that manually. I also want to, when I need more fuel, I get the empty buckets that come out down there, and then I take them up here and I fill them up from up here manually, and then I take them and I come over here and I drop them off into our lava bucket storage. And so I just go and grab a handful at a time. Usually I do 16 at a time because it's a whole stack of buckets. I make sure I have space in my inventory. Then I just hop down here where I can reach and I grab a bunch of buckets of lava, and I slowly remove all the lava out of this area. Then I can come over here, come down the steps a couple times. Oop, saw a skeleton spawn. I need to do some more lighting. And then there we go. And we just rinse and repeat until this is filled back up. The lava lasts a good long time, but this I want to automate as well a little more, but that's a future project, and I've had enough of the redstone for now. So for now, I'm just going to go through, fix this so that this is all using just hoppers, and then we're going to call this project done for today. As it goes, about 5 minutes ago, I filled that double chest with items, and this is how much is already smelted. And you can see, even right now, I just have one line of this running because the other ones are running, but they have nowhere for the items to go. So they're just kind of sitting here, not collecting anything. And I'm still getting a ton at a time. It's going very quick. when it's all said and done, this system, I'll be able to drop off a double chest of items. It will smelt it 64 times faster than a regular furnace and pop it out right here for me to grab. And so it'll make my life a lot easier. But I hope you enjoyed watching it. I don't typically do a lot of redstone heavy videos because it's frustrating to do on camera, and I think some people find it boring to watch, but I thought it would be a fun project. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.